Hi, my name's Sean Shaler. That guy down there is my friend Chris Ford, aka The Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter fame. And this week we're talking about Book 1, Spirits, Chapter 15, and it's Civil
Not book
War
one.
part... Ah, man, I forgot to change it again. Um, man,
Book two.
I need to go back and check my descriptions because I mentioned the title of the episode and stuff in all the descriptions. I wonder how many times I mess those up and I just never even see it. Book 2, Spirits. You know what? Hopefully nobody pays too close attention to my shoddy PowerPoint work here or at my place of work. Also, that applies. This is Legend of Korra, Book 2, Spirits, Chapter 15. It's Civil War Part 1. It is a two-part episode, but they're pretty full, so we just decided we're going to split the episode down the middle. We'll talk
I
about
guess
Part 1
technically
here.
this would be chapter three. This
Chapter
is a
3 of
different
the
book.
book.
Yeah. Episode 15 of Korra.
Episode 15. You know what? That's true. If you
Yeah.
started a new book, you'd start new chapters. You know what? I'm going to scrap it, throw it away. F it, we'll do it live. So we're going to split this one in two. We're still going to combine our ratings, and we'll do those at the end of next week's episodes. We're going to try the cliffhanger approach this week. Also, because I'm an old man and I get tired really fast, and we record these back to back. So we will do the ratings for the cumulative episode at the end of next week. But before we get to any of that stuff, as always, Chris, how you doing this week?
I am doing great. My basement is pretty much done. My man cave. I got these new lights here, which is very bright. I'm just I feel like I just look around and I'm like, man, I've made it. Like I mean, I made it last time also in my last house. It's not that much different. I don't know. I just really love how I have this all set up. And I was thinking to myself the other day, like all how much Batman the animated series has influenced my life. I don't know why I was thinking about this. Like almost to the point of like tearing up. Like Batman the animated series, like completely changed. Like this Batman changed my life. Like I wouldn't be into superheroes or into cartoons, and if it wasn't for that show. Like what would my basement look like if I didn't watch Batman the animated series as a kid?
I mean, that's got to be like 80% of everything I see behind you would have been stuff that directly stemmed from that joy, right? Like, I don't see anything related to basketball or.
No, I don't know
Here's
what
a
else I'm
question:
in.
if you hadn't enjoyed Batman the animated series so much, uh, what how much would you have liked Static Shock? Do you think would that have still
Uh,
touched a spot later or?
no, because I probably wouldn't be addicted to Batman the animated series started the love of Saturday morning cartoons. And
Mhm.
and so that just kept going pretty much until I was 15, maybe 16. And more like 15. Yeah, maybe like 15, 14. Um, so then I would have watched Saturday morning cartoons, which that's where Static Shock premiered. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't if it wasn't for Batman, I would not be into comic books and superheroes.
I wonder what that Chris would look like.
I don't know.
Hmm.
He probably wouldn't be as weird.
We need
Um, he would.
we need like a Ghost of Christmas Past, Christmas Carol episode where we dive into Chris without Batman.
What would I mean? I Batman was a lot of my life in that early time. And the thing is, I still love basketball. Like, it's not like, oh, if I didn't love Batman, I would be into basketball more. I was into basketball a good amount throughout my whole life. I don't think I could be any more into it. Batman wasn't the thing keeping me from playing basketball. It was my skill and my height.
You know what's weird is when I think back to Saturday morning cartoons in the lineup, I think the first one that I watched religiously was Recess. And while there's nothing against Recess, that didn't like translate into
Mm.
anything long term for me.
Yeah.
But I think the after school lineup probably caught me more than anything, and that would have included Batman the Animated
Hmm.
Series and Tiny
Maybe,
Toons.
yeah.
For me,
Maybe
would
I
have
would
been after school.
be into purely just like anime, maybe. Because I probably still, I mean, maybe I still would have watched cartoons. But I mean, that love of cartoons came from from Batman. I'm sure.
I mean,
Although
something
really, if
could
I
have
go
grabbed
back,
you, but would it have
yeah.
had the same kind of
I mean, I
impact?
was a kid. Something would have grabbed
Yeah.
me. Dragon Ball Z probably still would have grabbed me, I
That's
think.
you know what's weird? The time slot for Dragon Ball Z, whatever that was, didn't work out for me. I almost didn't watch that till late,
Hmm.
till much later.
I only came home just in time to watch Dragon Ball Z on that Toonami block.
You know, it's a different feel, but I will at least say it's not near to the extent, and I'm not trying to like water down your relationship with Batman, but I will say that Tiny Toons and Animaniacs have directly influenced the only type of entertainment that I regularly appreciate, which is ensemble meta comedy, I guess is what I would call it.
Yeah.
Um, and those were the two after school ones that I hit all the time. I think it went Batman, Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, if I'm not mistaken. But good times. Do you remember UPN? Did you ever have UPN?
Of course I had UPN. I
What
was
was that connected to? I mean, WB, right?
it
I know
was
what
it was it
WB
was
is.
black TV shows pretty much. It was UPN.
I always think of
Um
UPN for wrestling, but I don't remember if what else I might have watched on there. I always think of wrestling and the occasional KU basketball game.
yeah, so UPN did have wrestling on. They
Thursday nights, I
had
think.
yes, that Thursday night. Well, I forgot what was the name of it, but it was WCW. Because WWF was a little more high end. They were on USA Network,
Hmm.
which I think is still around.
I think it is in some capacity. I don't know. Is
Yeah,
cable still a thing? Do you still have cable?
I do. I could get rid of it if though I like basketball and my cable isn't that much. But
I wonder
uh,
what are the.
well,
I don't know
UPN
what
just
other
had like
options there are for
UPN just
basketball.
had like pretty much a bunch of black TV shows and Smallville. No, Smallville was on WB. Sorry, WB and UPN combined to make
I thought there was a
WB
relationship there
or the
between those
CW.
two.
They combined. They did combine. I forgot what shows on UPN they carried over to WB.
Heroes.
No, Heroes on NBC.
Thought I was onto something.
Yeah,
I,
Smallville might have been on UP. I don't think Smallville was
I
on
think
UPN.
Smallville was straight up WB, but
Yeah,
my memory for those things isn't always good. So I'm trying. I got to count my channels here. I had NBC,
but I don't
PBS,
think. I
ABC,
think
CBS, Fox, WB, UPN. So I had 7 channels total,
it's all the
which
channels you need.
it was all the channels I need. And for where we lived, 7 channels was probably more than we could have reasonably. I mean, we lived 60 miles from the nearest tower, so 7 channels is very reasonable. But good times. Speaking of videos and TV and such, do you have any videos coming up? I know you just put one up recently. Got any other ones baking?
I don't think I put up anything recently.
Didn't you put up one 2 weeks ago?
Nah, I told you I would, or I told you I would be working on it. There should, yeah, February,
Gotcha.
which I'm still shooting for that. It's currently in the writing stages.
Okay.
It's about Azula and Zuko and their relationship. It's not that deep though. It's a pretty, yeah, it's not that deep
The
of a
relationship or the
video.
video?
Well, both. uh, sorry.
I know where this is going to end. Well, I actually have. So I've been making videos, but not really regularly for some other website, some other gaming website, and so I put one up in December, and people really liked it, and it was good. And then they like changed their entire streaming schedule. So then, even though I had made like 3 videos for them in a span of 3 weeks because I was really excited, my second one just now is getting posted tomorrow, and I'm very excited about it. It's about a really weird old NES game. And then another one will come out that I'm saying this like I'm doing all this hard work, but I did it in like late December, early January. But another one will come out in like 2 weeks after that. So got a few things going up I'm very excited about.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
shame on you. So keep your. I don't know why I said that. So I meant to have more inflection, more sarcasm inflection in there. Yes, keep your eyes peeled on our channels. And, well, mine's not even on my channel, but that's fine. I share it to my channel in the same way I share this podcast. to my channel as well. So keep an eye out for that. Chris, any other news you want to share before we jump into the episode?
I pre-ordered the Zuko statue we talked about, which that doesn't come out till like September, I think, or August. August doesn't come out till August, which means I got to do more rearranging. You know,
Is
just
that a
when you think you're
diamond slide?
done. Yeah, that actually looks pretty good. I think. I think it looks a lot better than the Aang or the Katara statue that's coming out. Thing is, I think to myself, like, you know what? I'm good on statues and stuff. I finally organized my stuff, but then I have like 4 statues on the way that's been either pre-ordered or bought. But
That's what makes it a problem, and that's what makes it fun.
yeah, I have a Storm from X-Men statue, Zuko, Aang
Which
statue,
X-Men iteration, like comic or
comic.
cartoon comic?
Yeah, comic.
So not Halle Berry, because I'm a big fan.
Not Halle Berry.
Okay, well that's fine.
And then Katara, Aang, and Zuko statue. Which I wish I would have bought the Aang statue when I was in Adventure Stock in Kansas City, whatever, weeks ago, a month ago, whatever it was. I was like, you know, I don't need that statue because I already have an Aang statue. But I feel like they're going to come out with more statues. And the collector in me was like, well, you can't have 2 out of 3 statues. And they'll probably make a
that would
Toph
kill
one
me.
and Sokka one. So you got to get that one. So I had to spend like $10 more than I would have spent otherwise.
If there's a clear line that I can draw to cut off like a sub-series of something, I can talk myself out of it. Like, listen, I don't have the whole set, but I got this specific group that I'm able to like say that I did that on purpose. But if I'm just 1 or 2 short out of 10 or what, you know, I can't let it go. My brain will be upset every time I look at it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. My daughter, she's been really into Dragon Ball Z, and she really likes when I buy like new pops and stuff.
Yeah.
She's like, "Daddy, buy some Dragon Ball pops, Dragon Ball Super pops." I'm like, "Nah, I don't want to," because then I have to get Goku and get Vegeta, then Gohan, then Piccolo. Then at that point, I might as well get all the Z fighters, which is like 3 more people, and I don't even like 3 of those people. And then I had to get all these other things, and then at that point, I'm just like, no, I'm good. I have 2 good statues of Goku and Gohan, and that's all I need for my Dragon Ball Z to satisfy that need.
Her innocent little brain doesn't understand completionism, consumerism that we've adopted. Someday she will. She just wants you to have more toys. That's nice.
Yeah.
Hey, without further ado, then let's go ahead and jump into not book 1, but book 2 Spirits, and not chapter 15, but episode 15, Civil War Part 1 from the Legend of Korra. And so just to recap, last time, the very end of the episode, Korra and Unalaq are kind of looking out over the horizon, and Korra is essentially seeing these Unalaq's forces kind of putting everything on lockdown out in the harbor and around the tribe.
Yes. So Korra's still kind of mad at her dad. She's gotta try to remember what happened. I just watched both episodes, and so they blend in a lot together.
They do.
South preps for war. Yeah. So a lot of tension between the 2 tribes, and the tension has gone back for years and years, even before Korra was born. Yeah. So they're having a meeting with Varric and Tanarok, which is Korra's dad, and her mom at their house. And Varric's pretty much like, hey, we got to get to war, which he says something funny here. I really liked it.
Ship full of fish floating out in the harbor or rotting in the harbor.
Tell me, who wants fish? Because the thing is, before that, he asked some question. And Julie answers it. He's like, next thing you know, Chief Unalaq is going to be telling us what type of cookies can we eat. Who wants that? And then Julie is like, no one, sir. And then I messed it up. He's like, it was a rhetorical question. And then he goes back to the fish thing. He's like, who wants to buy this fish? That's not a rhetorical question. Really, who wants to buy this fish?
I just got to... Oh, I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that was it.
I just got through the episode in Community where it's the Who's the Boss episode, where the teacher's like, no, when I ask who's the boss, that's a rhetorical question. And then Abed
And then
teaches the class.
I bet it goes through and on the chalkboard and everything. And then the teacher ends up reading the whole thing.
In the two meanings of such and such, and in the other such and such and such, and by all
Yeah.
empirical meanings of the word boss, the answer is Angela. And circles it on
Angela
it.
is the boss. Yeah.
It's not a great episode. I don't really remember what the other the storyline B of the episode is, but his storyline in that episode is incredible.
Yeah. I've kind of been watching a little bit more Community lately, just
I love it. It's great background material.
All right, no, that's great. What was it? Yeah, I realized I've been watching a bunch of random clips, and then I was like, I should just watch an episode. I forgot what episode I just watched today. What was it? Whatever, I forgot. Anyway, back to Korra.
They're all good. Just go watch them.
Oh, there's a connection here though. The person who voices. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on Varric. Who voices Varric was in Community. He was like the teacher in the first couple episodes that talked to Jeff, who was saying "Carpe Diem."
Yeah, with the nice hair, and he's in the debate episode, and
yes,
that's
him. He's in the debate. Yep.
No way. He's in quite a few things. I'm not good at the stuff off the top of my head, but I know he's familiar from other shows as well.
So yeah.
Yeah. Seize the day.
Yeah. That's like episode 1 of Community.
3, I think.
3?
I think it's 3.
Yeah. He is Varric. No, he really enjoyed playing Varric. Like he went to cons and stuff, Varric. Avatar panels. Nice. He's really funny there. So then, they have that meeting about going to war. Korra's kind of stuck in between the two of them. And then, let's see here. Oh, I'll get to the searching for Iki part. Okay. So then the Korra feels very conflicted because she doesn't want to, she just wants peace. And the thing about Korra is that I think I'm kind of done being annoyed with the Korra, right? Those first 2 episodes of book 2 that we just reviewed, I think that was probably the most I'll ever be annoyed with Korra. And I think at this point going forward, I don't think she ever annoys me again. So that's pretty good, right?
I mean, I can't speak to the whole thing, but you feel her turning a page. Like in this episode, you sort of see her turning a corner of doing what we would want. I don't know if want her to do, but kind of expect and understand how she's going about her business.
Yeah. And she's fairly diplomatic in it. She is in between both of them, trying to kind of broker some type of peace between them.
We see the buttons that Unalaq is pushing on her, and she's kind of handling it in a respectable way, or we at least can be very empathetic to it. So I would agree, at least in this season, that this episode feels like a little bit of a corner turn.
Yeah, and one thing. Okay, so at one point, Unalaq is talking to Korra about you can try and broker peace, talk to your father and everything, but as an Avatar, you got to be a neutral party. And in my head, I'm like, who says that?
There's no book on that.
Yeah, you do not have to be a neutral party. Imagine if Aang was like, hey guys, stop. If he was around during the airbending genocide, hey guys, a neutral party here.
What if we just talk about it?
Yeah, we'll just talk about it. Get out of the way, Avatar. Oh, okay, I'm the neutral party. I can't even interfere. No, avatars can interfere. And to me, that was just him saying, he keeps on sounding good to Korra, saying things that are very reasonable, but to me aren't. Especially that one part of being neutral. No, you don't have to be neutral.
I would say the Avatar is not a neutral party so much as its own party.
Exactly, yeah. Which almost makes me... Something I hate that happens a lot recently I refer to it as the both sides syndrome, where people try to, if in order to, uh, people try to say, in order to be really objective, you got to look at things on both sides and consider both sides' faults and stuff. And to me, like, yeah, you should see the faults or anything on both sides of whatever argument or whatever you're talking about. But the both just saying, oh, well, both sides does this. I hate that so much because you could be like, hey, you know what? Hitler and Joe Jackson were both terrible people. End of discussion. Like, no, no, no. Yeah, there's some context you're missing there. You don't have to be, uh, just saying both sides and any of that. You need to look deeper in that. Like, just because both Water Tribe and Solar Tribe are fighting with each other isn't both side thing. Like Unalak, you just invaded this place. Like you had no business invading it.
I would say the purpose of objectivity, in a sense, is kind of informative, information gathering. You know, we as humans, I mean, that's not the end game, I guess, right? Objective information gathering and understanding, but then that, I don't know, that's not the end all be all. That's not the action item at the end, I guess. Like, you still got to decide for yourself. I don't know. I don't want to say you have to pick a side, but just being objective and gathering information isn't the end of it.
I just think you just got to look at it, put everything in context, um, and the I feel like I'm just ranting here. And the saying the both sides thing, maybe I don't like it because it has this air of objectivity to it, and to me, it's not really being that objective, and in that sense because it doesn't look deeper than surface level. Um, yeah, and I have a weird thing about being objective about things,
You
which
know
is
what's
why my YouTube channel is called The Objective Key.
You know it's funny, and I would never want to have the talk on the podcast because it'd probably just delve into just nonsense and rhetoric that even I don't understand. But fun fact about Sean, I don't actually believe in pure objectivity, not at all whatsoever. But there's
Oh no, and which is I get kind of a little bit of arguments with people sometimes when I like share my video like objective review of so and so, and then I'll always sometimes get a comment being like, "There's no such thing as an objective review," and I'm like, I know that, but if you watch my video, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm just trying to be as objective as possible. You can't be 100% objective with really anything.
I
Like
would,
you
yeah.
are,
We
you are
talked about
influence.
compartmentalizing earlier. Like I can compartmentalize when saying that we're trying to be objective, talking about a video versus somebody trying to use some crap argument and slap objectivity on it as a label. But I don't know. In my mind, everything is either a fact because it can in some way be quantified, and it comes down to being a quantifiable fact of one thing being greater, less than, or equal to another thing, or it's an opinion and objectivity. But yeah, different conversation for a different day. Mostly, it's something that I developed. This belief that I developed to get under the skin of some other guy that I used to work with. Neil, do you remember Neil? I don't think he's talked to us
No.
too, maybe on Pokemalarkey or something, but just to get under your skin. But long story short, like I said, I believe that when you're in that information gathering stage, yeah, you need to be open-minded and understanding. And I think you use the word context, understanding to the entire context, seeing a big picture. But just knowing all that and seeing both sides isn't in itself the right thing to do.
Yeah. Long story short, Korra, go wreck the Northern Water Tribe. Don't feel like you have to be.
She doesn't have much reason to at this point. Like, that's what we're saying, though, when we say she's turned a corner. Like, we still get why she's not sort of 100% there yet, right? Like, we see that the button's being pushed and nothing has jumped out right away as sort of blatant, I don't know what the word is, blatantly objectionable.
Yeah.
And so I can understand why she's still hesitant while she's still trying to be sort of a mediator in there. I can be empathetic to that.
Okay, so there's some people dress up to go kidnap Unalaq, and they're all wearing a mask. Korra is chasing after them, which okay, this is one of those things I hate when people take about Korra, that she's like headstrong, doesn't think. Korra in this fight, she takes out all these people, probably like six of them, without bending at them. She just like wraps them up and everything because these are her people. She doesn't want to hurt them, and she does it flawlessly with no. Uh, she does it great, which many people I feel like have this misconception that Korra is just like pound pound bang bang bang, but no, she's very thoughtful in her attacks and everything, that she can wrap people up and apprehend them without hurting them. Which is one of the things I kind of compare it to like Batman in the Dark Knight when he has to take out those cops at the end there. Like he doesn't want to hurt them; these are good cops, but he still has to take them all out, which is
Like incapacitate safely, which is
yeah, which takes
easier
way
said
more
than done.
skill to do than just kill or hurt or maim people,
There's
right? Which is
there's
one
a
of the things
reason
that
when in wanted dead or alive situations that the alive gets you more money because it's harder to do.
yeah, which is one of the which is one of the reasons why I hate when certain directors or writers write Batman being more like killy, like Ben Affleck's Batman and Batman v Superman. Like he doesn't give a crap. He was just killing, mowing down these people. Like it takes way more skill and it's way more impressive to take out people without really killing them. I don't care if Batman hurts people. That's fine. But
It's part of the gig.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's totally reasonable. And I'm typically an Aang defender in certain situations when we talk about the Aang versus Korra, provided it's not in a small arena where Aang can't escape. But incapacitating something people is definitely something that Korra has demonstrated more of earlier on, at least. Clearly.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. So she then finds out that it's not her dad, but she I do like this family confliction stuff that she's struggling with. She finds out it's not her dad, and then she goes back home and she sees her parents, and she cries. Which I love this moment that she has with her dad. Right? She's like, "Dad, I thought you did this and this." She cries in front of him. Really great family stuff, I think. And he's like, I could never, do that. And then they just have a really nice moment together until it's
Um,
ruined. But
it Well, I think what makes it special is it doesn't last very long, right? Like you're just kind of getting into it,
yeah,
and then Unalaq himself busts in, right? Like it's not like it's
yeah,
just some police cronies. Like, can you imagine busting a door and arresting your brother and his wife? It'd
oh yeah,
be a messed up situation.
yeah. Really, really enjoy that. Um, then on the B plot, they're at the Southern Air Temple, and and Tenzin, and this story here is about Tenzin, Bumi, and Kai. Really, both of these episodes are about them too. When it comes to the B plot, you come to find out that Aang wasn't like the greatest father to Kaya and Bumi. Like Tenzin would be like, "Oh yeah, this would be just like when Dad took us on all those vacations," and they're like, "No, he took you on all those vacations. We did not get to go on those vacations." He's like, "What do you mean? Like, you were there. We went to Ember Island. We went to
Ride the giant
Kyoshi.
koi.
Yeah." He's like, "No, that was just you and Dad." He's like, "Huh." And he kind of blows it off at first, but then this story continues to go, and so they're off looking for Ikki because she got in a fight with her brother and sister, and and
I don't remember
they
specifically where it cuts off in this episode.
yeah, no, it's kind of hard to remember. I
I'm
think
gonna say that pretty close to where you're at now in terms of like they've gone their separate ways to start looking, and maybe there's a scene where Booby like does a terrible icky voice and it's like, "I'm over here, Dad," and I think
yeah,
that's still in this episode and that little
that's its own
fight,
episode.
and then
I think
Tenzin
it
says,
ends.
go back to home
Yeah,
base," but they
yeah,
don't quite get to the full conversation of like, Tenzin, you're exactly like Aang. That's next episode, that part of the argument.
Is it? Okay.
I think so, isn't it? Gosh, I might be mixing it up.
Yeah, it's really hard. Well, anyway, we'll get to it eventually.
Yeah, let's cut it there,
Um,
and then we'll cover the rest at that time. So
but I will say this: I do really enjoy this family dynamic because it's real. Because it's not sunshine and rainbows after the series ends. Like these people are human, even though they're cartoons. Like these family relationships happen in real life, where one sibling may appear more favored to the other siblings, and how they think it's not fair, and how
try not to
how that
smile because it
warped.
was me.
My sisters claim I was spoiled by my mom, although
But
I
you're the
don't think I,
youngest, right?
I was the youngest, only boy.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some truth
So
to it.
you just got
I
brand
mean,
new
I don't
stuff,
know
and you were at
how.
the lax parent
Yeah,
stage,
I
and
don't. The thing is, I don't know how I would be spoiled. I got in trouble. I got the most in trouble.
but
I got the worst
they probably all had
punishments
to
for
like share
sure.
clothes and share rooms and things like that, just to a greater extent than
Uh,
you would have had
no,
to.
I had to share a room with my sister until I was like 14.
My sister is the only daughter, and I had to share a room with her for a while. But no, I it's the youngest thing. I'm second youngest, and I'd still say I was the favorite, even if Jordan, the youngest, got more lax privileges. I still think I was the favorite, so I get it.
Um,
Team Tenzin right here. What again?
yeah. But I think parenting is not easy. Especially as a parent, you sort of have to identify um, what different how to treat your kids differently, sort of, because different kids need different things. Um, which, like right now, my daughter can be very independent, but my son isn't. My oldest son, and so you may just naturally give him more attention because he needs it. Or maybe I give my daughter more attention because she's goes to sleep later, and so we have a little bit more time. Oftentimes, these things aren't purposely done. It just happens that way, like with Aang. Um, so yeah. But one thing before we get into this other debate or conversation, depends on I guess where you fall, is again I just really love this dynamic between them because it really informs the characters um, just so well that you start to gauge exactly why they are and who they are, why Tenzin is so uptight, why Boomy is so loud and out there and obnoxious and having all these war stories and stuff that just seems ludicrous because he's trying to overcompensate for A, not having bending, and B, possibly not feeling like he carries on any legacy because Kaya carries on the legacy of Katara, Tenzin carries on the legacy of Aang, and Bumi so he has to overcompensate for that. And so he comes up with these crazy, which some of them are probably true stories.
Seeds of truth in there. Seeds
Yeah,
of truth.
exactly. Yeah.
I
And
think that they do a great job of presenting a real family dynamic and a real family scenario. I'm gonna nitpick and say the dialogue itself is a little too heavy-handed. Like siblings their age don't talk and interact that way. I don't think.
I don't know.
But
I don't know, Sean. I think sometimes I think things like this can carry on for a while, especially if you haven't handled it and sat down.
if you
Like,
haven't
luckily, I don't think
if you haven't
any of
brought
that
it to
really.
light, but the way it was handled, it was too childish in the actual dialogue for me. But when I say nitpicking, I mean it was minor detail, and it does a really nice job of translating a very real feeling family dynamic and giving Aang some depth and the family some depth. There's just a lot of the dialogues like they sound like 12-year-olds arguing about it. Like it's like they've reverted back to their this childish state that they were in when it was happening, which maybe that was
Yeah.
the intention. That could be.
Yeah.
Minor
Some of that might
nitpick,
also
purely
happen. I
opinionated.
don't know.
Yeah, maybe that could be. You just kind of you step back into that role when you're defending your position there. Could
Yeah.
be. I
All right. So, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't really have those kinds of conversations with my siblings. Like we don't have that type of laundry, I suppose, right? We got dirty laundry like any siblings,
Yeah.
but it's
I don't really either. All me and my siblings get along. Um, there might be, I have a half sister that I didn't really grow up with. That my sister, my sister, but I always think about kind of that relationship, and I think about like how she wasn't around to fully get like my father's attention and stuff like that. But I don't think she holds anything about it. Like it was just that type of situation that it was. I mean, my dad, this and he had a child before he was married to my mom. It just is what it is. Like he couldn't be there because he didn't live there. I mean, he would go over there. She would kind of come visit, and also maybe she doesn't get mad about that because at one point in time she could have like stayed with us, and
yeah.
then she decided not to because from what I've heard, she decided not to because my daddy was too strict, and
That's that's
that's
reasonable.
but my daddy is fairly strict. Although if you look, not to get on her or anything, just we, the four of us who grew up in the house with our both our parents. I don't like to say that we've done better than her, but we all have college degrees, and I think she just got her GED. But anyway, that's I
Just
don't know where
having
I'm
the
going.
support. Well, just having the support of both parents in the same house too. That certainly,
Yeah,
um, not me and my siblings. We get along normally, and so it's like we do have dirty laundry to air, but it never escalates to like the drama sense that they had in there. But also, there's probably a little more like worldly pressure, I guess, in their case, right? They're
yeah,
not
yeah.
they're
These
not
are
a normal family in any regard, so comes out bigger. That's fine. But do you want to? I don't know if you want to use that as a segue.
yeah. So discussion topic slash debate. If so, question is, was Aang a good father? I'll let you go first.
Okay. Well, I tend to be very critical of Aang as a father, but in the same way that I think he didn't do a good job of separating his self as an airbender from his job as an avatar, and then clearly that carried over into his job as a father. And some of his decisions as the avatar frustrated me because of the way he's like thinking about them as an airbender first, and that's just the choice he made. And while I understand his rationale, I found it frustrating because there was no guarantee that any of those choices were going to preserve the lineage of the airbenders at that time, at least. At least with Tenzin, there's some more validity to it. And that is always, quite frankly, it's always pissed me off. But like, I absolutely would have killed Ozai. Maybe that's why I don't get to be the Avatar. But other avatars would have my back, and that's all there is to it. So I'm gonna say I'm heavily critical of Aang as a father for being that way, and yet trying to see the big picture. And we've kind of talked about it here is I'm willing to bet that he was still a loving father, and all fathers still make mistakes. His fathers go under a microscope because he's the Avatar and one of our favorite fictional characters. It's easy to come down pretty hard on him. So I'm gonna say in general, you know what? Yeah, he's still a relatively good father. I mean, you said it yourself, parenting is hard, and they all got their crosses to bear. But I'm still very upset and pissed at like it seems so obvious to us.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a good dad, I think.
I think he's a good father. First of all, let me say that this isn't bad writing. Like as much as people like to be like, "Oh, this is bad
No, this
writing,"
is
like
great
Aang,
writing.
yeah,
This is
people
such
be like,
incredible depth. It's so I hate it, but it's drawn me in. It's made me care about it.
yeah, yeah. Um, Aang, first of all, Aang was not raised in a traditional manner, and yet he now has a traditional relationship with one wife, with kids. he has a family. If he was a real air nomad, he would be out there, you know, all four nations, just having children and increasing the airbender count, um, and not fathering any of them really. In fact, he's a much better father
He'd just be a little air
than the
nomad
average air
factory.
nomad. Uh, doing a
I
lot
didn't
of never
even
mind.
think about that. That's incredible.
But I think it is still messed up. He didn't take Kaya and Bumi with him with them on those trips because it's not that hard. Like
Just let him
Tenzin
hang out
doesn't.
at the hotel or something. Like, what is.
It's 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 not like Tenzin is describing like, oh, we did some intense training and stuff like that. But just like no, they just went to these different places and stuff.
I know that
Um,
travel in light is faster, but it's not like Aang himself was flying them, right? They were on a bison, so you can pack a
yeah,
few more people on there.
yeah.
Killing me, Aang.
Which that's to me. I don't know if I put myself in Kaya and Bumi's situation, where my father was like went on vacation, went to Disneyland with one sister once a year growing up. I would be like, hey, why didn't I get to go to Disneyland at once, Dad? Um, which now that I put it in that perspective, I was about to be on the other side of this argument that Aang was a good father. But yeah, just imagine if your parents took one of your siblings to Disneyland once a year and only them. Like, how would that affect you?
If you paint it in more of an edutainment light, like Tenzin only said the good things. Like we got to imagine there was some other like really boring crap in there as well. So I wasn't gonna go Disneyland. I was thinking about like what if my dad's like we're gonna go to Germany and see where my dad
Okay.
where his family came from. I'd be like that sounds awful, but also I like beer and I hear they drink that over there. And then my other siblings would be like we also like beer and we're very upset about this. Um, I
That
imagine
is
there had to be
true.
some bad stuff in there, but it doesn't deflate your point at all. It's like how can you not take these other kids with you in some capacity?
Yeah, at least once, but they never went on any. But I still think Aang was a good dad. He could have been a lot better. I think he was a kind of an average. He was, I forgot where we ranked him in our list of dads, but he
It's
could
like
definitely
fourth or
better.
fifth.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I didn't rank him that high.
I think
But
I
we're
did.
we're
So maybe
talking
I'm
about
thinking about
like,
personal rankings.
oh, okay, because we were like 15 dads we went over. I think maybe more than that.
I thought he was in top 10 for sure, but I don't know. I have to look back into that.
Oh. Um,
We didn't take it easy on him, that's for sure.
no. Um, Another thing I brought up in that discussion was that Aang was very open to Kaya coming out as a lesbian. He is very probably better than Katara in handling it, I would guess, because Kaya mentioned that um, Waterbend, Water Tribe kind of like to just don't ask, don't tell kind of motto, and and they're like, yeah, sure, you can do it, but we like to stick to our traditions and everything. And Katara being like probably more into her traditions. I'm sure she was supportive of Kaya, but I'm guessing the Aang was like, what's any issue? Like I came from the air nomads where it was just free love, everything, like
The thing that stands out to
just
me
no
is that
marriage.
the thing that stands out to me that kind of turns the corner or pushes me over the edge of saying that I still think Aang is relatively a quote unquote good dad is that like his kids obviously still love him and they're obviously still around. They
Yeah,
want him. Boomy clearly wants to make him proud, and then Kaya being aware of that and jumps in is of course like they still had a, a loving relationship, and I think
yeah,
that was kind of my bottom line for
true, true. Yeah, still a
still
loving
sucks.
relationship.
Yeah,
And yeah,
still
and like you said, Tenzin, I'm sure it wasn't all play. Even though Tenzin probably just remembers those good times, which, like he says, he likes to see his father just the good things with him. I'm sure there are
yeah.
times where Tenzin had to spend training, and and Aang probably wasn't. the easy on him because this is Aang's one chance to keep his culture alive.
I mean, I try to, especially if it's like thinking about vacations, right? Going on vacation with family, somewhere along the line, a fight breaks out because not everybody wants to eat at Denny's or some shit like that. It's like, yeah, I block all that stuff out, and I remember the good.
Denny's.
I
Go to
couldn't
I
think of a restaurant.
go to IHOP over Denny's.
I we didn't go on a lot of vacations if you can't tell. But you block out all that stuff. You think all the good stuff, but yeah, there's still like the travel itself was dumb, and there's always arguments on the way. But easy to see why Tenzin would bring it up that way too. But there had to have been some studying even along the way there. Like that was the whole goal in the first place.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Which maybe he thought that Kaya and Bumi would get in the way of that. So I understand. I mean, just once, and come on, just once, take your kids.
Just
But
take.
again,
They can
it's
go with Katara and do whatever. Like it's fine. You don't
yeah.
have to be burdened by them. Whatever.
But hey, still, I think it's still good writing. It still adds a lot of depth to the character of Aang. I much rather have these characters be more humanized in Legend of Korra than Aang was a little bit too romanticized, I think, in his series. He almost could do no wrong often, or people just kind of, or they just, or his. I, I I might just be talking out of both sides of my mouth here because I crap on Aang enough. I won't say crap on him. I just say like, hey, Aang, you should have, you know, killed Ozai or
Romanticized
you.
is a good word. Well, it's because the reason it sticks out to me is like, yeah, I tend to like. I have a very shallow taste in entertainment. I'm not afraid to admit it. And that's probably why, on some levels, yeah, Aang appeals to me more in Korra in that sense because I don't have to peel back or think about those extra layers. But the sort of reality here, the tangible reality that they've painted into this family in the Legend of Korra is extremely impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess my final verdict on that is that Aang is an okay dad.
I'll second that. And you know what? I think Aang is the type of guy that if he like looked down on this in hindsight, maybe he would attempt to correct some of it. Probably not all of it. I think his end goal would still be the same, but I think he would learn.
Yeah.
So
Although how disappointed would it, well, not disappointed, but how mad at himself would he be? He'll be like, dang it, Boomy became an airbender after all. Like I could have been.
you ruined everything. Actually, I gotta be honest, Chris. I forgot about that until you said that just now. So,
Oh yeah.
that
Oh
baby
man, I should have. Yeah.
is that late season 3 or mid season 3 when that starts happening?
Beginning season 3.
Early season 3 when they start popping up
Yep.
at random kind of.
Episode 1.
I always remember the kid
In
that
fact,
won't
it's
move out of his
episode 1
parents'
starts
house.
off with Boomy.
I
Like
always
Arab.
remember the kid who won't move out, but I kind of forgot about Boomy, honestly. But yeah, now talk about wasted potential. Like, can you imagine never playing basketball with your kid and then you die and then later he's got a good jump shot?
Mm, yeah. That's like when I figured out that so I moved, right? I moved to the other side of town. My favorite ice cream place, the best ice cream I've ever had, I used to live like 3 minutes from. And so if I ever needed ice cream, not needed, if I ever just like thought about ice cream, I would go there and get ice cream. So they sell concretes. I would get a peanut butter cup, cheesecake, concrete. Amazing. And then like the last day that I was at my old house, I thought, oh, okay, I'll go get some ice cream. But I'm actually really hungry for actual food. Let me see what they have. And they had these chicken strips. I thought, I'll try the chicken strips. And these chicken strips were amazing. Like, and I've lived in this house for 8 years, not knowing that they had, because this is an ice cream place, Sean. They're not known, like they just have hot dogs and stuff. I didn't know that chicken strips were going to be that good, but I was like, this is like
That would
some
have no
quality.
reason to be. It's impressive,
No,
really.
I was just thinking like, like Carnival, or they just, frozen chicken strips you just put in there and then you just put them in the fryer and they cook for 5 minutes, whatever. But no, they were breaded very nicely. Like it was really good chicken strips. And
Um,
I'm just like, it's been, I lived there for 8 years and didn't ever get anything besides ice cream. I got one hot dog one time. It was on a wheat bun. I was like, this is crap. And then,
What's a
and then
wheat bun? That sounds terrible.
wheat, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
Oh,
awful.
okay.
Why? Oh, stop.
No, no,
Ew.
don't know.
I had a reverse experience here, which is that I really like home cooked, what do you call it? Like the home cooked comfort foods. I love fried chicken, mashed potatoes, but my wife and I, A, don't know how to make them, and B, try not to make a lot of stuff because we're already kind of chunky. But there's a place like, it's half a mile away, like it's walking distance, and they got a little walk up window. It's very cute here in Olathe. It's like pretty early when we moved in. I was like, Heather, we got to try that place. Like, it looks like it's going to have me kind of food. It's right here. It's great. And the first time we tried it, and it was just absolutely terrible. So disappointed. But maybe it's a good thing. I'll try it again. So it could have just been my belief is you got to try stuff twice because it could have just been one bad day.
Sure.
Joker reference. Hey, no ratings for this episode. So I think if you have any final thoughts, otherwise we'll just wrap it up and come back next week for the ratings. Any final thoughts you want to
add? No. Thank you for watching.
Absolutely. Tell us what you think of Aang. Is he a crappy dad, good dad? Did you ever get ditched on any vacations? That's the stories I want to hear. When did your
I'm
siblings
lucky enough
go?
that my family never went on vacation, so I didn't have that problem.
We went to Wichita was an hour away, and we used to think it was the greatest vacation in the world to go to just this random hotel that had like a smallest, teeniest little putt-putt golf and ping pong tables and pool tables, and that was our vacation, and we loved it. We ate it
Our
up.
vacation was once a year. So I'm from Tulsa. Once you over the summer, go to Oklahoma City, go to the mall, and go to the zoo, and then come
Oklahoma
back.
City Zoo is a great zoo.
The thing is, the Tulsa Zoo is also great. Like the
Oh, is
Oklahoma
it?
City
Oh,
Zoo
yeah.
isn't like that much better. The Tulsa Zoo apparently is like one of probably a top 10 zoo, I think, in the
Oh, no
nation.
kidding. You know, I've
I
been
think
to
so.
Oklahoma City. I've been to Norman. I've been to Stillwater. I don't think I've ever stopped in Tulsa at
Yeah,
all.
they have a pretty good zoo.
Oh, who knew?
Got
If you're
got a
out
got a
there,
nice polar bear exhibit.
if you have ever been ditched for a vacation where one sibling got to go and you didn't, where it was blatantly obvious that you feel like you should have been, we'd love to hear that story because that's gonna make me
Yeah.
laugh.
The only type of those stories I have is like my dad one time took me and my sister. So I have four older sisters, three of them I grew up with. Took me and my youngest sister to go see Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Um, and that's like the first movie memory I have.
Awesome.
And he didn't take the other two sisters for some reason. I think because my mom had to take them to the dentist or something. And we always had that memory over
Well, that
him.
seems like a load of crap. Like, yeah, you remember when you guys got to the dentist and we watched Ace Ventura?
It's okay because I think and everything evens out over time, I guess. Because one time
Absolutely.
they should have definitely got a whooping. They were like wrestling in the hallway, and then they end up bumping the wall, put a hole in the wall the size of like I described it as if a Ninja Turtle shell had hit the back of the wall in the hallway, and they did not get in trouble. And me and my sister were like, "What the heck? If that was us, our butts would have been whooped bad." And they did not get in
That's so
trouble at all.
disappointing.
We still bring it up every now and then.
That's your
Like,
dirty laundry that you bring up in very dramatic,
yeah.
Boomy and Kaya fashion. I that seems pretty ridiculous, but we always had wood paneling walls, and those just don't break very easy, so we were good. Tell us your stories. Tell us what you think of Aang, and otherwise, come back next week for the ratings of Civil War Parts 1 and 2. Thanks for watching Avatar: The Last Podcasters. I'm Sean. That's Chris. You can get us on social media. Is all in the description of the video. Check us out. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next week.